and George Lucas, mi amigo. Welcome. Welcome to a stream of the Gaming Kitchen Birthday Stadium Building Extravaganza. Your boy here has turned the ripe young age of 37, which means I have 73 more years to go. Or is it 63? I got 63 more years to go to outlive any person who tries to stress me out and shorten my life expectancy right now. 5 p.m., fate be willing, I will have to do a fan survey with the Baltimore Ravens here. So I have to get off the stream real quick. It's a little hot. So, how are you guys doing? For everybody who's sitting up here, still in my good graces and company, and vice versa, thank you for being here. I am getting older. I would like to take this moment to say sorry to kill some Turkey Hill. I will take this moment to say that a lot of people frown upon getting to a certain age. But every birthday, I would like to dedicate my birthday to the people in my life, or were in my life, who never got to this age. There were people who I went into high school with that never got to leave those hallowed halls because they passed away during that time. They passed away when we were about to leave out at that time, and they never got to enjoy the benefits of getting older. They never got to enjoy the benefits of settling down, getting a relationship, getting a girlfriend, getting a fiance, a wife, children. Life, for some reason, robbed that from them. We never know why. We don't know why. But I will say, I do always dedicate my birthday to be thankful to those, thankful to be at an age in which people who, be it from 18 to 29, who are not here, people that I know that are near and dear to my heart, who unfortunately have not, and probably will never be able to taste the fine fruit or vine of 30 or their 30s, unfortunately. So I try to take it upon myself to live my life as fruitful and as vibrant as possible in the time being that I have, because there is no guarantees here on this earth. I would like to get that out of the way. Another thing I like to get out the way is another thing. If you go to a restaurant or a bar, this is a lesson I should have already learned in my life, but, you know, if you already go to a restaurant or bar or buffet place and you're promised a free plate for your birthday, the hookup, as we colloquially call it, be sure to remember the person's name and their shift when they get on so that you can get that hookup. That didn't happen to me today, and I paid dearly for that. Never forget that. If you're going to get the hookup, follow through. That was a rookie mistake on my part. That at this age, you can't miss. So that's that. So one thing I'm going to do, as I am currently trying to play catch up, thanks to SDS here and their wonderful crew, is catch up and basically try to redo these ballparks. So that's what I'll be working on here for the time being until like 4:50 or 5 o'clock. So if any questions, statements, or anything you guys got, any well wishes, they're well welcome. Be sure to stop on by. I'll say hello and give my well wishes to wherever and whenever I can. Sorry, I'm up here watching this guy Birdwatcher, Orioles Birdwatcher, and like he has this special tendency where where the only post he sees of like my stuff on his channel is like quote unquote negative. So I said, let me just give you. He's like, is there any part of your dimension that is not negative? I said, well, let me give you a half of my dimension. I think Tyler O'Neill is a swell fellow. Listen, let me explain something. I am not a negative person, if anybody wants to understand something. I am not a negative person. I comment on things that I see in front of me. And if you are the type of person, Mr. Orioles Birdwatcher, who you probably never come across my channel, but I will say this. I will say this. If you are the type of person who likes to live in La La Land and denial, then by all means, go right ahead. There's a whole heap full of people in this world who love living in denial. I commented on a whole bunch of them in this game world here. So just understand one thing. The Orioles are bad because of one person and one person only. Mike Elias. And I don't care how many streams you do, my old friend. I don't care how many streams you do where, you know, you're looking for likes and clicks and people to follow you and all that stuff. Thank you, Mark. And people to like you and follow you and stuff. And go O's, even though you don't even live in this state, let alone live in this country. I'm the one who goes to the games. I'm the one who buys tickets. I'm the one who owns jerseys. I'm the one who gets autographs. And somehow you're the one that's not here. You're in Singapore or you're in Taiwan somewhere. It is 3 a.m., my good guy. So if you want to question my negativity, Mr. Birdwatcher's Orioles, that's fine. That's okay. Keep coping because your GM sabotaged this season because he has no clue as in what it takes to put together a winning team. The only reason why he won in Houston was because he had ownership that actually was smart enough, unlike Mr. Magoo here in Baltimore, who just throws out hats, to actually pressure him and say, hey, buddy, stop screwing around. Go get us some talent so we can win something. Now, if you can't handle that truth, I don't know what to tell you, my guy. You seem to be an old man, probably about pushing 50 or so. Not saying that's derogatory or anything. But let me just say this, Mr. Bird Watchers, okay? That is the truth. And no amount of positivity and clicking your heels twice and staying up and rolling a joint on your stream like you usually do is going to change that, okay? Now, if you would like to stop, by all means, go right ahead and join the party. I am not going to change who I am. I like telling the truth. I like living in the truth. I like quoting and saying things and speaking on things in my life that I see in front of me. Not what I want to see, not what I wish to see. That doesn't make me negative. That makes me a realist. Okay? And here is the realistic facts. All right? You don't have as many likes on your page, my guy, because most people don't want to sit down and watch a bad product. The Orioles suck. And this is one of their worst seasons because Mike Elias made them suck. Because Mike Elias is a fraud. And Mike Elias, much like most people who are in over their heads, instead of them sitting up there and changing the way they think about stuff and how they do stuff, instead what they do is they double down because they're arrogant. That's what Mike Elias is. He is an arrogant person. And he believes, much like how the hitting coaches believe and much like how his manager believes, his patsy manager and Brandon Hyde believes, that continuing the same exact thing over and over again is what's going to yield different results. I'm here to tell you it doesn't. That is all. So, you know, if you don't like me posting on your YouTube channel, that's fine. You're right. You're entitled to it. But let me explain something to you, my guy. When you sit up here and the season's done and you're still trying to scrape and scrap the bottom of your heat pile to try and find a way to stay relevant broadcasting old Orioles games, just understand something. If your GM and your team, who you love so dearly, screws the season in May, which, by the way, this series right now is a must-win in May. What Major League Baseball team you know is fighting for their playoff life in May? The Orioles are. Don't get mad at me, my guy, because you are not in touch with reality. That is not my problem nor my fault. So, when you sit up there and you say, "Oh, there's 4,000 people at the game," you're lucky there's 4,000 people. You're lucky there's some select few of poor souls out here who, for whatever reason today, decided to take time off and of their lives that they'll never get back to go see a pathetic product on the field such as the Baltimore Orioles. And this is a diehard Orioles fan right here telling you. This team is inept. They suck. They don't play worth effort. They don't show up. They don't put the effort in. Okay? I am pro-consumer. Anybody who comes through here, you will know something about me. I'm pro-consumer. This whole stand by your team stuff don't work with me. I'm not a fair weather fan. I'm a good weather fan. Okay? I like it when it's sunny, 95 degrees, cool breeze, and some shade. That's what I like. I ain't trying to go to no games when it's raining. So that's my response to Mr. What's his name? Because I'm looking at his stream right now. Orioles Bird Watcher, 2.65 thousand subscribers, 35 likes. In fact, just because of his little response, you're going to get right here a downvote. That's what you're going to get. So those are the facts. Sorry. If they hurt your fifis, they hurt your fifis. Look, Orioles fans deserve better. Okay? I'm gonna stand on a soapbox right now, okay, and say to whoever, the one or two of people who actually are here listening to me, let me explain something. I, as an Orioles fan, deserve better. Okay? We sat up here for 4 or 5 years. This guy's been here for 7 years. Okay? Mike Elias has been here for 7 years. And in 7 years' time, he's still putting out utility players out there. This is his doing. Okay? This is his doing. This is his doing to sit up there and have fans out here on a work day in a doubleheader watch Kramer crap the bed like the pathetic pitcher that he is, okay, and can't even hold 3 runs for his team. He gives them up automatically. We sitting up here talking about the hitting. We say the hitting sucks. We talk about the hitting sucking on this team, but Gunnar Henderson hit a 3-run home run, made it 3-zip. Who's the reason why they made it 3-4, 4-3? YouTubers don't scare me. I'm a grown man. YouTubers don't scare me. When I come in and I say what I want to say, and you have a smart-ass response back to me, I'm going to give a smart-ass response back to you. That's just how it works. You know, bro's on his YouTube channel trying to cope with freaking like Orioles players and stuff. How the Orioles doing? They're trash. That's how they're doing. They're trash, and you got these little suck-ass, panty-anty little apologist YouTubers who sit up here and are like, I don't like negativity on my channel. All your posts and your responses are nothing but negativity. This guy doesn't pay attention to anything I've ever said on the channel. I've said more things about the Orioles being positive than anything being negative, but he pays attention to the negative stuff. What does that say about you? Dude can eat rocks. Go ahead. Your YouTube channel, my guy, Mr. Orioles Bird Watcher, let me explain something to you. Your channel, okay, just to let you know something, is only relevant during baseball season. That is all. And coming from a person who is mostly irrelevant on YouTube, Let me explain something to you. When you're irrelevant, YouTube will show you your irrelevance. Okay? It will. It will. All right, my dude. Like I know your game. Okay, Mr. Orioles fan, I know your game. Mr. I live in Taiwan, all the way in Taiwan, talking about an Orioles game. Yeah, I'm actually in the state they're in, mi amigo. I go to their games. They're trash right now. Okay, I'm gonna tell you exactly the problem with the Orioles. You wanna know what the problem with the Orioles is? Okay, tell you the problem with the Orioles. Okay, let me tell you the problem with the Orioles. All right, I'm gonna sit up here and have a healthy conversation. Okay, with the Orioles. Let me tell you what's up with the Orioles. Okay, as he sits up here and watches his team get blown out 4-0 trying to cope. Let me explain something to you that's wrong with this team. Okay, Mike Elias, all right, does not know how to build a team outside of a rebuild. All right, teams that are championship winning do not have platoon players on them. They don't. Okay, they don't. They don't have platoon players on them. This team has a dozen platoon players on them. All right, that's the first problem. The second problem is you have no pitching on this team. Now, this falls on Mike Elias. Now, everybody's going to run with this whole narrative that, oh, they got injuries, they got injuries, they got injuries. They don't have injuries. They have injuries now. They didn't have injuries back then. Mike Elias had dozens of pitchers to get, okay? All he had to do was man up, be a real GM, trade your prospects, than which you like to hoard and hold on to, like some crazy person off of TLC with dozens of stuff stacked in their room, and actually bring some pitching in here if you're serious about winning. Third thing, if you are serious about winning, you're not going to go out and sign a 41-year-old pitcher who's trash and is at the end of his rotation. He's at the end of his service in Major League Baseball. There is not one single GM in this whole entire league who's smart enough to go and get a 41-year-old pitcher and expect him to yield the same results he did when he's in his 30s. It's called Father Time. All right? He made a bad trade. In fact, most of his trades are bad. Trevor Rogers is nowhere to be found. You can't even see him on a milk cart. But this dude, this wonderful GM who all these people around here, like Orioles Birdwatch and all these people pray to the altar of, who love living in positivity, won't express all of that. Okay? They won't express all that. That is the truth. That is not being negative. That is the truth. And if this losing continues to happen, you're not going to have anybody at Camden Yards. It's going to look like the way it did during the Angelos era. Okay? It's going to look like the Angelos era. Just like with your 35 likes on your channel, you're going to have just as many people at Camden Yards if he don't fix this and get it straightened out. I am not a fan of people who live in denial. And they say, if you're negative, why are you around? Which is true. It's a good question to ask. But let me tell you something. I'm not a negative fan. In fact, I'm willing to bet I care more about the team than this Birdwatcher dude does. Okay? I'm willing to bet I do. Okay? All right? But I'm going to tell you something. Sitting up here watching this team do this pisses me off to no extent. It's been 42 years, all right, since this team has done anything. 42 years. I'm dating myself because guess what? I'm 5 years younger than their last World Series win. We're talking 2 generations worth of people who haven't got to see this team win anything. And time again, this has been squandered and wasted. The Cal Ripken years were squandered and wasted. The Miguel Tejada years were squandered and wasted. All these years were squandered and wasted because of bad ownership, bad GMs, Peter Angelos and his arrogant stuff. So it's cool, dog those fans. Accuse them of being negative. Accuse them of all those things. But you know something? Deep down inside, I'm right. I'm right, Mr. Birdwatcher. I'm right. I'm right. Because you hate it too. If you're a fan, if you're a real fan of Orioles, this whole positivity BS that people talk about, and let me just say, I'm very different with the Caps than what I am with the Orioles. The Caps are a little bit more forgiving in my book because they actually put forth a good team and get to the playoffs every single year. Orioles don't do that. So until they do that, then you won't get my good graces. It's the same thing as the video I made about the it's the same thing about the video I made about the what's it called? The card collectors, the card people, the SDS people, the card people who talk about, how it's not Madden. Oh, it's not Madden. I collected about 15 cards, and oh, that's great, Antidotal Annie. That's great for you. But the rest of the people in your community are making YouTube videos complaining about SDS becoming like Madden. So am I supposed to just take your word for it, or am I supposed to sit up here and look at 5 YouTube videos of people complaining about SDS being predatory with their card system? People never wake up. Supposed to be positive. Yeah, I'll be real positive, Bird Watcher. Let me give you some positivity. Let me tell you something that's positive. Those green seats at Camden Yards looks fantastic. I want to know who paints them. Those green seats that are going to be empty all this season looks amazing, bro. Looks fantastic. Can't wait. Positivity. Yeah, go ahead and be positive. That's the only thing that's going to be positive to Orioles, because the only thing that will be positive, everything else is going to be negative, like net cost. I'm not one of those fans that are like those types of people who are like supportive and show up. I used to do that stuff when I was a lot younger, and then I realized I'm wasting money. Like, why am I going to this game where the people on the team are a pack of losers? They're losers. They don't care about the people talk on the sports radio shows here. They say, "Oh well, the fans. Why are the fans giving up on the Orioles? Giving up on the Orioles? Why did they give up on us? Why are they giving up on us?" People never ask that question. When I sit up there and I see the Colorado Rockies, right? Like, I see that fan base, and I see a bunch of people show up to a team that is like 6-32. They're stupid. They call them loyal. Oh, they're so loyal. No, they're dumb. They're wasting their money on a bad product, because you know what it means? The longer you keep going to a game and the more you keep buying the game and going to see the game, and the game is terrible, guess what? He's never going to change the product. He's never going to change the product. Why change the product? You're stupid enough to continue going and supporting it. I don't care about these players. These players don't give a crap about you, bro. Anybody wants a key of advice in life? Okay, there are three types of people in your life that care about you. Okay, all right. Your family, if you're lucky. All right. Your friends, if you're lucky. All right. Your work partners for years, if you're lucky. All right. The lady or man of your life, if you're lucky, and that's it. Anything outside of that is a merit-based relationship. That's it. Merit-based. What have you done for me? What will you do for me? What will you continue to do for me if you are going to do something for me? And if you can't, see ya. Oh, and if you're religious, whatever deity you believe in. You believe in God, that's who you put your trust in. All right? And those are the facts. All this other stuff will fail you. So I am sorry, my people, for having to deal with that. But, I get sick and tired of going on these YouTube channels and seeing these people think that they can just talk to you any old type of way because you sit up here and say something and they get in there and they get in their umbrellas all upheaval, get their melons tweaked because they can't handle the truth. Yeah. I'm sorry. Your beef, your anger needs to be with Mike Elias, who's supposed to be a smart GM. Went up there and traded Kyle Stowers and Connor Norby because he said, and I quote, that Jackson Holiday and Kobe Mayo were going to come up and bring the bats. And Kobe Mayo just got sent back down again in Norfolk for like the 500th time. Mr. 500, Mr. AAA 500 home run hitter can't hit a single ball in the majors. And then people say, "Oh, can you hit?" No, I can't. It's not my job. I perform well in my job. Okay? I perform well in my job. That's the point. I don't need to perform well in Major League Baseball. You're supposed to, buddy. You're the one that came out with the media and talked about how it's unfair. You're being sent down to the minors, but you're trash. You can't hit Major League pitching. Figure it out. But good news is I'm still watching them on TV. So they just came up and they're now up 6-4 against the Twins, which is how I like it. So now that my rant's over with, I want to get into a topic. I don't know who's here. Let me see if there's anybody here. All right, there's 0 people watching, so I might not even continue this. Screw it. But I'll come back on for a part 2 or whatever. This was all I was trying to convey. Okay. All right. Well, while you're here, I just want to get this thought piece out. By the way, I love Orioles Birdwatchers channel. Just, I don't like when people try to call me out. Because when you try to call me out, that means I'm going to have to come after you. But here's my 2 cents on, well, I mean, actually, let me rephrase that. You can call me out. I'm just going to respond. Let me say this here about the one topic I wanted to cover. Okay. The reason why I went so extensively into the Diamond Dynasty chase cards thing is because I can sit up here and talk about the stadium creator going to shit, pardon my language, till the dogs run home. Okay? I can do that all day. Okay, like Captain America, I can do this all day. But I want to say something about that. Talking about the problem and not identifying the source of the problem is never going to solve the problem. All it's going to do is just make videos where you're just continuously complaining about something that is never going to end. The reason why I made those 3 videos, the response, well, not really response video, but a reaction audio to the Gnomes dude, whatever his username is. No disrespect, I can't remember these people. And my brief comment on KDJ TV thing is because in order for you to understand why Stadium Creator is in the slump that it's in, you have to understand the origin of the neglect. Okay? To just sit up here and say it's being neglected is one thing, but you have to trace things back and see why this is continuing to happen the way that it is. And the way I take a look at it is I take an extensive look into seeing why it's the way that it is. And there's a reason why. Because SDS is going into a direction that people do not want to admit they're going into a direction of. As long as you keep sitting up here coping with the narrative that Madden is better, that Madden is worse than SDS, and but it's predatory and all this type of stuff, and they take money from people and they hide good cards in the system, and you'll have people who come out and defend them and say, well, the cards I get are great and good. I still play with them. That's awesome, dude. But we're not talking about you. We're talking about the fact that even though these cards are free, they are selling cards or having cards that are better than the cards you're playing with. That's the problem. Now, if you want to sit up here and you want to go with the notion that SDS is not predatory, SDS is not going down the road of being predatory, SDS is not doing any of these things, you're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe, okay? But like I said yesterday, I got some dates wrong, but like I said yesterday, and I'll say it today, I'll just put it out here for people to understand. Madden 2011, MUT came out. So you have MUT coming out in 2010, first seen in 2010 in Madden 2011, okay? 2 years later, MLB The Show comes out in March or early April with Diamond Dynasty. So you have 2 years later, okay? Then you go into October of 2012, and NBA 2K13 has VC as currency, and they do the My Team stuff. Now, you want to believe in coincidences? Okay, cool, we can do that. Why do you think Madden came out with MUT first, and then they came out with Diamond Dynasty, And then TK came out with My Team. Doesn't that sound like a corporate business that's actually looking at a model and saying, hey, we should copy that model? Doesn't that sound like that? That don't sound like that. Okay, cool, gotcha. SDS just does all this stuff in their game for no apparent reason. Like that, there's no coincidence. There's no, nothing there between them setting up the entire mode of Diamond Dynasty, okay, and that. No coincidence whatsoever. I don't know. I'm going to continue this thought at 5. If anybody wants to come back and get into it in live, ask questions about whatever, I'll be back in about 90 minutes. Okay? If everything goes right. If it doesn't go right, then I'll probably be back in like whatever. But I'll be back and we'll talk about that. Because I want to extensively get my idea out there and say why I believe and know that this is predatory. And it's not just because, I hate SDS. I don't hate none of these things. I'm pro customer. I am anti cheating the customer out of what they pay money for. And what has happened this year is that SDS has cheated the customer out of good quality service. That can't continue. So I'll be back. And if you guys want to come back, we can have the conversation or whatever. And that's that. I'll see you guys later.